The next match. Frankie Kazarian against Chris Jericho. Our old friend Chris. After one headlock takedown, Jericho's belt broke. Did you see that?
Look, Jericho is in the worst physical shape I've ever seen him. Beyond what he looks like, watching this and trying to be objective about it,
it's bad.
He can't go anymore. I mean, that's the thing. He can't go anymore. And I don't think the problem with this match was Frankie Kazarian at all.
Well, no, but and I mean, at least they tried to have a pro wrestling match because they both know what to do. But see, here's the thing, and you can go back and watch it again, and I'm sorry if I'm revealing any trade secrets here, but you can see the shortcuts that Chris has taken because he can't put himself into it full anymore. Whether it's a short shoot-offs, he'll grab a guy and shoot him off, but he won't go with it and follow him and take those extra steps. He'll shoot him off. He dictates the pace. He does the flex and pose during the heat, which, of course, is a staple of heel wrestling activity, but he's doing it. I saw Roger Waters at the Yum Center here in Louisville do the wall several years ago. Roger Waters is 70-something. He can't go out there the whole time anymore. He would go behind the wall and take breaks, right, while they were building it. But also during the instrumental parts where he didn't have to sing, he would walk very slowly to one side of the stage and slowly lift his arms. And then and there's long instrumental breaks in Pink Floyd shit. And he'd slowly walk to the other side of the stage. He'd raise his arms. That's where he was breathing. Chris he's saving any excess movement, which is why what you see is he's doing the right things, but he's not reacting to them like he used to. He's not following through like he used to. He's not, because he's conserving his fucking wind. Then, of course, and he builds to the big moments because he's working smart. I'm not saying it's not smart to work like that when you're at that age and in that condition, but he took a Spanish fly off the top and it looks stiff as fuck. And he probably has no business doing that shit anymore. But that's the thing, is he needs to be in certain positions or stay in the tags or keep it short or whatever. But besides that, even two pros like this, all the heels interfered on the floor in front of referee Aubrey. They take the shortcuts. Then finally, Kazarian got the Boston Crab on him. There was awkward interaction with Ortiz, who was at ringside. MJF ran out while he was going to throw the towel in, but Sammy runs out and takes towel away from MJF. Sammy and MJF are arguing. Kazarian starts false finishing Jericho. This was so busy. All at the same time. JR even made a reference like, what the fuck's going on here? And finally, Kazarian out of nowhere ran into the Judas effect. Elbow. Boom. 1, 2, 3. And Jericho rolls out on the floor. He wasn't selling the match and laughing about his victory. He was selling and about to fucking heave out there. And they had a promo coming up, and I think that's probably why he rolled out on the floor, because he had to gather himself before he did a promo. And they probably knew not to get into the thing they had to get into until he started talking. So he finally gets back in the ring, and there's MJF and Wardlow and Sammy and Ortiz start shoving each other, so the heels can't get along, and they're all mad at other heels. And Jericho makes the ultimatum next week, all y'all have to get along or we're going to break up forever. How is that a logical thing? Why not? Hey, you two guys that I just had join this thing 2 weeks ago, it's not working out. But now I'm going to break up the whole goddamn group unless everybody gets along in the next 7 days. What the fuck's going on here, Brian?
Well, a few notes. Remember, I think it was either last week or the week before, I brought up to you the idea I had been told that on the pre-taped episodes, because Jericho was upset that the fans weren't singing his chorus twice, that they looped it in post-production to create a false second chorus being sung by the fans.
Yes.
If you notice, after the first one this week, he looked at the fans and he made like a little hand motion, like sing it again, and no one did. No one did. The end of the match was a mess. Everything took too long. I felt bad for Kazarian in that holding that Boston Crab for seemingly like 3 minutes or whatever. If it wasn't 3 minutes, it felt like it. I can imagine what it felt like to those two guys. I mean, I think one of the other stories of this night was I don't remember the exact temperature, but apparently it was really cold in Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. They were just 3 weeks ago, it was oppressively hot and everybody was sweltering. And now it's like 40-something degrees and everybody around ringside's wearing a coat.
Yeah. So, I mean, that couldn't have been easy on the guys. But, you know, the one thing I thought was silly, the whole thing with the towel, with Sammy being blamed for about to throw in the towel because Jericho didn't see MJF with it, which, you know, I guess the argument is that Jericho doesn't have time during the entire week to watch the video back and see what really happened. It's one thing him being mad about that in the moment because he hasn't seen the replay, but he'll have plenty of time before next week's show to see the replay. But what I thought was disappointing was the idea that MJF runs out there with the towel, and they've teased throughout all these stupid segments with MJF in the Inner Circle. The one thing they've teased is that there are members who don't really accept him, who are kind of warning Chris that you can't trust this guy.
And then he comes out and tips his hand 3 weeks into this thing.
But not only that, unless I missed it, and I actually was listening to the commentary here, because I thought Jim Ross had a good night, I didn't hear anyone mention that's what he did to Cody. He threw the towel in on Cody. Not one. That's what the whole tease is, the fact that he did this before. He did this before to someone he was pretending to be friends with. Not one mention of that. How do you not mention that? That's why him holding the towel has some meaning. He did it already. No one mentioned that. I couldn't believe that. I was waiting for someone to say, that's how he screwed Cody Rhodes. Nothing. I didn't like the match. And I get it that Jericho's an older guy. It's unrealistic to expect him to perform the way he did at 40 or 30 or any other time in his career. But that also means he should change the style of wrestling that he's working. And I know you said he cheated here and there, but he's still trying to do too much to keep up with the younger guys. And I know Kazarian's not a 20-year-old. He's been around for a while too. But Jericho's doing stuff that he doesn't need to be doing. He looks like he blows up right away. He's out of shape. And, you know, I'm not one of these guys that's a cosmetic Nazi. You know, everyone has to be on the gas or anything. But you've seen Chris Jericho on national television for over 20 years. You know what he looks like. He's never looked like this. I did not like this at all. At all.